All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is Element 18, and we're going to be talking about tonight. And I am Nancy Peterson. This is Clark.
Hello.
All right. And between us, we lost 115 pounds 5 years ago and have kept it off. Now we're leveling up our health because really, you never really stop. You always want to be working towards being healthier, even if it's just a small little thing that you do, you incorporate in your life. So I just want to tell you a couple of things. One is today is the last day that they're offering specials for new clients. So if you have someone that wants to come along with you on the journey, today's the day. They'll keep it going till midnight tonight. So if you have somebody, just talk to your coach and they can certainly help them. So just to let you know, I mean, it's $75 extra off the first month. And then instead of 10% off the next second month, it's 30% off. So just something to think about. Also, just a reminder about we on YouTube, we are putting all the recordings on YouTube of these. So you just go under Nancy and Clark Peterson. Okay. And if you go on there, you're going to see all the elements that have been recorded. It's not every single one, but it's all the ones we could capture. So the beginning ones we didn't do because we were having trouble recording them, but we'll go back and do those again. So, so that's something you can look at and look back at and share with people. We don't mind. I mean, it's just for whoever would like to listen. And then the last thing is, if you aren't already part of the 60-day challenge, I'd like to put that out to you. So I think most of you are doing it. Okay, good. Most of you are doing it, it looks like. So here's the thing, what it creates. It's creating a habit of adding in motion every day into your normal activity, right? Which basically will help burn extra calories, but it does so much more than that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. So we'll be doing that in the challenge. You're going to be weighing every day, which normally we only weigh once a week, right? But we're weighing every day and reporting that in. Oh yeah, it's and exercise, which we talked about. And, you have to choose. Some people are on the 5 and 1. Some people are on the 3 and 3, just 4 and 2, whichever you're on, you want to stay true to that. And then the last thing is resistance training we're going to add in a month. All right. So in a month. And that doesn't mean you have to join a gym. There's a lot of different ways to do resistance training without doing that. Okay. I mean, you can join a gym too. It's up to you. So that being said, tonight we're talking about element 18, which is all about
Motion,
an exercise.
exercise.
Exercise. So I love the title of it. So, it's really fun at Christmas to get a gift, right? You don't know what it is, you open it up and you're like, "Woo, this is nice. This will be fun to have." Well, the title of this element is Exercise is Your Gift to Yourself. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I never thought of exercise like that. I know Sue's shaking her head.
Not even if you put a bow on it.
Nope, nope, not with a bow, not with pretty wrapping paper. No. But after studying the element, I mean, Dr. Anderson never ceases to amaze me because he brings information that helps you to look at it differently. And when he does that, I mean, it really does change your mindset. So we're going to kind of talk about that. So I think most of you were on last week and we talked to, no, you weren't. I see some no's. I see a yes. Okay. Well, last week we talked about adding motion into your day. That is not what we're talking about this week. This is about exercise, which, yes, that's motion, but it's a little different than just gentle motion that you add into your day. So last week we talked about what's called NEAT. That's the, what's it called, acronym?
Yep.
The acronym that Dr. Anderson uses, and what it stands for is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay, non-exercise. So what does that look like? Looks like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. It looks like parking farther away from I mean, I don't know about you, but I was one of those girls that drove into Costco and I would just keep driving around and wasting gas because I had to get the parking space closest to the door. Plus, I was listening to something on the radio, right? So, so anyway, you intentionally park farther away just so you get those extra steps in, right? Maybe what you do is you don't use the remote control. You get up and actually adjust the volume on your TV, if any of us knows how to do that anymore. And I know how we just have changed, right? I mean, we used to look for a phone booth and now we just pick up our cell phone. Right? So that is what he calls neat. Okay, so it's non-exercise, right? Now we're talking about exercise. Okay. Yeah, and Lori's happy because she's our exercise guru and she's hopped on tonight. Way to go, Lori. That's great. So she's going to be piping in, I'm sure. All right. So here's the thing that we learned. Last week when we talked about NEAT, what that does is it helps, okay, when you start to really put those non-exercise motions in during the day, you can burn like 200 or 300 extra calories a day. Okay, that's kind of what it does. But it's not only that. Okay, so what you're doing is you're really getting your body in better shape by using it. It's kind of like, all right, what's a good example?
Preparation.
Yeah, if you didn't use some, all right, here's a good thing. They cited the example last week of the astronauts, right? The astronauts that went into space. And what happened was, even though these guys were in great physical shape, right? Great physical shape. When they came back, they weren't because they were not using their muscles. So it's the same thing. You need to use that
There was
to,
no gravitational.
yeah, and there was
resistance,
no gravitational
so their
resistance
body
too.
aged and their muscles atrophied.
Thank you, honey, for that.
You're
All
welcome.
right,
You're welcome.
all right.
No problem.
So this week we're talking about, and the acronym is EAT. And I don't mean go into the refrigerator. Okay, so EAT is exercise activity thermogenesis. So let me ask you, do you know what thermogenesis is?
Burning fat,
Who said that?
I did. Maureen.
Oh, Maureen? Well, that is partial. That was good. That was partial. I can give you 3 stars for that. 3 stars for that. So thermogenesis, the actual definition, is the dissipation of energy through the specialized production of heat. I'm going to read it one more time. The dissipation of energy through the specialized production of heat. So Maureen is partially right on that because that is the dissipation of energy. So basically your body's using, right? Using fat, which creates energy, right? It's using that up, but it's with this because you are specialized production of heat by doing exercise intentionally and in a manner vigorously enough that it's going to create that. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, all right. So it's not only that it works to your benefit that way. There's other things that work to your benefit when you do this. One is you feel better, right? So endorphins are released, you're feeling good. And, even though you didn't really want to do it, you go out and do it and you feel pretty darn good.
You
Right?
get that runner's high.
Runner's high. Good way to put it, Lori. You do, you get a runner's high. You have to fight through that. I don't feel like doing it. Right?
Yes.
That's what you have to fight through. But it also decreases your need for meds. So certain medications, I don't know if like diabetics are encouraged to do walking. Why? Because that reduces their need for that insulin. Okay. It creates that in the body where it does that. Okay. So it reduces, and also even blood pressure too. But this was interesting. It also will arrest the progress of disease. And I read that and I was like, and I had to read it again. So basically what Dr. Anderson's talking about is that by incorporating exercise into your life, it will actually fight against disease. Now, he doesn't specify what diseases, but I'm sure there is a variety that it can affect. So anyway, what is it that you would do? Okay, so what is EAT? So if you were going to incorporate, I'm not going to say if, when you incorporate exercise, exactly what is it? And that, to me, that's the big question, because am I going to run? I'm going to tell you no. I'm not going to run. I'm not saying running's bad. Lori's a runner. She loves it. She loves it. But it's not necessary for every person. Okay.
It's not
You don't-
even really good for you.
She just can't
my-
help herself.
My physical therapist years ago told me, you should not be running, Lori. And most people think that they have to run to get fit. And he said, the real thing is that you need to get fit in order to run, because running is very hard on you. There's lots of other things that are better.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. It's why there's a
I
lot of
have-
orthopedic people out there too.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be really hard. And it's not to say you can't do it. I'm just saying
Right.
that is a consideration, especially if you're carrying extra weight. So you might think, okay, am I in a place where I want to start incorporating exercise? If you're still losing a substantial amount more, you feel like you still have a lot to lose, I would say no. Okay. And that's just based on what Dr. Anderson says. Now, as you get closer to a goal where you aren't going to put extra pressure on your joints, then you're going to want to do that. But there is a lot you can do between now and then. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. All right. There's a lot you can do. So basically, exercise is planned movement that's vigorous enough to improve your overall health. Okay. Vigorous enough to improve your health. And so like with Lori, she's running. Doesn't mean you have to run. You can do something like walking, but you have to do walking in a certain way in order to accomplish and make it exercise. Okay. You cannot go out for your Sunday stroll and think that you have exercised. However, you can go out for your Sunday stroll and you have done a good thing in that you have done what's called NEAT, non-exercise. You're basically just doing gentle motion. You're doing motion that's just helping you to get healthy, but it's helping you to get to the place where you can do exercise.
Yeah.
So that is one of the importance of doing non-exercise.
I think it prepares your head for exercise too.
Yes, it prepares your head, prepares your body,
Yeah.
prepares your flexibility, your mobility, even your core. It helps you to transition into it, right? So, okay, we're going to just take a little jump ahead though, guys, okay? Even if you're not quite ready to put exercise into your daily routine. That's okay. But you need to know about it, all right? So that you're mentally thinking, okay, this is going to eventually happen. And this is how you'll, number one, maintain your weight loss, but also you're going to be able to be in the best physical shape possible. All right. So, first of all, you may ask, I would, how much time do I need a day to do this? Because I'm a pretty busy lady, man. And it's like, how much time do I really need to do this? So 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. So really, if you think about it, 30 minutes a day is not a heck of a lot of time, right? Sometimes we
Nancy.
think, yes, Maureen.
What is considered a substantial amount more to lose? How many pounds are we talking? Because I feel like I got to do something because I'm getting flabby, and I still feel like I have a lot more to go. 30, 35 pounds.
Yeah. So are you right now incorporating some just extra motion in your day?
I
Like, do
walk
you-
a lot. I usually get about 7,000 steps in, but I don't do any exercise like, yeah, like I could, and I would like to. I like to do the treadmill and the bike and the rowing machine and maybe break some weights, but I don't know what I'm doing yet. So, but I still have a lot more to lose,
Mhm.
especially at that age.
So what we really need to do, okay, so if you feel like Maureen, where you would like to start incorporating something and you're already doing a lot of motion, absolutely we can do some kind of beginner things with you to get the start to firm up, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even things like wall push-ups, sit-ups, things like that. But I would like to like specifically design that for you because I think you have to take a lot of things into consideration. First of all, what kind of physical shape are you in right now? What kind, do you have any back problems? I mean, I'm just giving examples. So we want to make sure to recommend those things that are actually going to keep you in good shape. We don't want you to hurt yourself or do anything that's, going to send you contrary to what we're trying to do. So Maureen, tomorrow when I call, let's talk about what you can do. All right?
Okay.
Does that sound good? All right, great. Okay, so 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's what Dr. Anderson recommends. Now, if you go out like Lori and you want to just go hiking for an hour and a half, then, and your doctor gives you clearance, that's okay. But there's certain things you need to know too before you go jump and do that. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. So by adding in exercise, there are certain things that result from it. Okay. There's like core goals for habit of motion, core goals. And some of those core goals are one, what it does is it corrects the energy in versus the energy out. Okay, so when whatever fuel you're taking in by exercising, you're balancing that out, the energy in to the energy out. Okay. So it's another reason, Maureen, I want to make sure we don't overdo it with you because you're still on the 5 and 1, which is a reduced calories. Okay. So, but we'll talk about that. Okay. Secondly, what does it do? It supports your heart, lung, and blood vessels by doing that because it delivers oxygen to your cells and especially your brain. So, which vital, and some of you aren't as old as I am, and Clark is, but you know, we want to make sure we're getting the right oxygen to the brain, right?
So can I
Don't
talk,
laugh, Karen.
talk about that in a second? And that is, well, here's what I've learned. And when you talk about brain, I also add, I know the brain and my feelings are two different things, but my brain is definitely involved in my feelings. But here's what I found out, is it's hard for me to be depressed when I'm working out.
Right.
It's like you can't. If you go work out and you really exercise and you really, you know, do the weights and do the running and do the bike thing, you will not, or you're competitive in football, basketball, whatever, you can't, it's difficult to be depressed and exercise at the same time. So it's a very much a brain mental health issue. So just wanted to add that.
That was really good. That was so true, so true. Okay, and then it also helps to build muscle and bones. So, I mean, there's so many benefits to it, right? So Dr. Anderson has broken it into 3 levels, and this might help us to understand when to incorporate this in our life. So he broke it into these 3 levels, to start with walking, then going or walking or something, some kind of fitness, like it could be jazzercise, it could be something like that. You know, it's basically getting your cardio going and preparing your body for phase 2, which is resistance training. Okay, so it's really important to get the exercise cardio part before you start a lot of resistance training. And I believe he does that for a couple of reasons. When you're adding in the cardio and the exercise, what it's doing is it's creating flexibility in your body, mobility. It's preparing your body for that next level of resistance training.
Increasing your blood vessels, which allow oxygen to get to your muscles, which allow you to work out better.
Yeah. And then the 3rd level he talks about is boosting your workout. Okay, so he's talking about like doing cardio, walking, something like that. Then he says you go to resistance training, and then you go to boosting that. And that's really what he calls ultra health. That's where he really puts in longevity and all the things, you know, we want to be the best we can for as long as we can in our life, right? We want to be the healthiest we can. But tonight, we're not going to talk about resistance training or boosting. We'll do that next week. I just want to kind of get clear about what it could look like for you. And you don't have to go with this, but this is a recommendation from Dr. Anderson. So it might fit you, it may not. He really talks about doing it's called a walking, where is it? Walking program. No, walking something program. Where to go?
COVID walking.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so basically what he's saying is you do not have to run like Lori's doing. I mean, you can if you want to, but you do not have to run. You can do this all with walking. And so he describes how to do it, which I thought was fascinating. So what he said was, you basically start with 20-minute time frame. Your first 5 minutes is you are warming up. So you're basically, he talks about going 1 mile an hour. And I'm like, how do you ever determine 1 mile an hour? That's kind of weird. It's 160 steps in 5 minutes. Now I'm thinking, I'm
Yeah.
wondering if a Fitbit might be the best thing for that. What do you think, Karen? Maybe a Fitbit?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he talks about doing 5 minutes of that. Now you have to remember, this is someone that hasn't been doing a lot of exercise, right? Then you do 10 minutes at double the pace. So that's like 600 steps in 10 minutes, 660 steps. Then you do a cool down of 5 minutes, just like you did the first 5 minutes, right? of just 160 steps. That's what you do the first day. Okay, the first day. Then you start adding in time every single day. So you increase it daily. The goal is that you get up to 4 miles per hour, which is basically 4,000 steps in 30 minutes. But you do it in that same format. So can you see how you have to accelerate in order to get up to 4,000 steps? Because really, that very first day, what I described, that's 1,000 steps. So basically what he wants you to do is to go to 4,000 steps in 30 minutes. Okay. If you did that 5 times a week, you would see huge benefits. Now that's exercise, okay? That's exercise. So depending where you are in the program, just want to kind of give it. So you may say, well, am I really ready to do this? Okay. First of all, we always say, check with your doctor. So I don't know everybody's medical condition on here, but you need to make sure you check with your doctor before you do it. You always want to start slow. Keep your heart rate at 50 to 60% of your maximum. So do you guys know how to figure out your heart rate? What it should be at your age and your, do you know that? Okay, so this is how you do it. You determine your maximum heart rate by subtracting your age from 220. Okay. That everybody got that? Okay. So, and be sure to incorporate stretching before you start. We don't want any injuries, and make sure you cool down after you're done. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like to walk, but I like to have things going on in my mind. So for me, it would be listening to some kind of podcast or something, or possibly music that's going to generate the right pace for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So does walking sound like the thing you'd want to do, or what is it for exercise that might be more comfortable for you guys? Yeah, walking for you, Sue?
The bike.
Bike, good one.
How about hiking, Lori?
Hiking, yeah.
I like hiking too.
Yes.
I like both
Hmm.
the recumbent bike and walking. It just mixes up my day.
So Karen, tell us a little bit. I know you texted that you had done both today. So
Mhm.
when you did your walking, did you do it outside, or where did you go for that?
So I compete with myself on my Fitbit, and my goal every day is 10,000 steps. And so sometimes that's riding a recumbent bike because it's better on my back. And usually an hour is anywhere between 5,000 to 6,000 steps. And then I'll go to the mall because it's either, if it's too hot outside, it's all air conditioned. If it's snowing outside, it's nice and toasty in the mall. So I walk the mall, and usually about 45 minutes into it, I'll hit the 10,000 steps if I've already done the bike.
Okay.
Just a little game I play with myself to challenge
So-
myself.
So when you are walking, would you say it's motion, or would you say it's exercise?
It's exercise because I do a pretty quick.
Okay. Okay, great. And so Sue, would walking work for you? Yeah.
Yep, that would be my choice right now. Yes.
So is the challenge time for you? Yeah,
I would say so. Yep.
because you're working full time. So
And then
that's the challenge. But somehow I think when I think about it, that it's 30 minutes, that doesn't feel overwhelming to me. Does that help? No.
I mean, I've done it. I've done it the past 2 days because I said I was going to, and that's what I needed, because I can just say, oh, I'm gonna do it and then not. So I've done it. I've done it, like I said, both days after work. I've made a commitment to come home and get out.
Could
and
you do,
walk, so.
could a person, working person do 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night? Or does it have to be all on?
No, I don't see, I mean, it doesn't say
No,
it
it's-
has to be,
It's 150 minutes a week. Can you hear me?
go ahead,
Did
we can hear
hear
you.
me? Okay, it is 30 minutes a day, but as long as you get in 150 minutes per week. So if you did, 45 minutes one day and then, or 15 the next, and then 30 from then on, I think it's all fine. If you're just looking for that 30-minute, the 150 a week.
Well, one of the things that we want to create is that you're doing 30 minutes or those 150 minutes in 5
Mhm.
days, not in 7. The reason we want to do that is eventually when we put in resistance training, that's going to happen in the other 2 days.
And
So
we want to create a habit.
So yeah, so we want to have it. And that's why, I mean, and it's fine if you want to, you have to shift it a little, but you want to create that habit of 5 days getting in your 150 minutes. Okay. Uh-oh, I heard a, So here's the thing. If your habit is to brush your teeth, and if your habit is to get up and go to work, and if your habit is you got to cook dinner, you can make a habit of 30 minutes to walk. You can. I mean, it is absolutely possible. It all comes down to this. How important is your health? And the thing is, we're not doing that to lose weight. Okay, guys? I mean, it is a way to maintain a weight loss. We're doing it to be healthy, and we're doing it to get ourselves ready for the next step. All right. So what can happen is you think, okay, if I go out and do this exercise, it absolutely is going to make me lose more weight. Well, it might, but we shouldn't be doing it just for that reason, because we want to be as healthy as possible. That's really what we're doing. Okay, all right. So
You
here's
can't
a little rule.
exercise a bad diet either.
Right.
Did you hear me?
You can't outrun your fork. Sorry, guys. And a lot of
Yeah.
people think that they think that if they would just exercise, that's going to take care of their weight. It might help a little, but it isn't going to give you the results that changing your diet will do. For sure.
It's true.
No, but you know what I find, Nancy?
Mhm.
I find that when I am exercising, it changes my brain so much that it makes the diet much easier because I'm just motivated all over the place.
But that is a great thing to say.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lori. That is a great thing to say because that is so true. It's like you've invested and again, I think the endorphins, when they start to come from the exercise, really does help make you stay on track easier. So, rule of thumb, guys, when you're exercising, if you cannot carry on a conversation, you are exercising too hard. All right, don't do that. You should be able to carry on a conversation. If you find you're getting winded and you can't, you need to slow down. It's not to say you can't build up to it, but you want to do it in a way that you're not going to hurt yourself. Okay. And again, we want to start to incorporate the exercise so that we can go to the resistance training. That's like the next step. All right. So any questions, in suggestions?
Well, you kind of did warn about if you have a lot more weight to lose, that you shouldn't really be exercising. And what would you consider a lot more weight to lose?
Well, I would say if you've got 40 or more pounds, I would be careful about what I did. I'm not saying not to exercise. I mean, one thing is if you're doing the non-exercise that he talks about, which is basically adding in a lot more motion in your day, but you're already doing that, Maureen. So you're
Yeah.
already doing that. So I think what you have to do is you have to be careful what you add in. I just don't. Oh, sorry. You just have to, because the last thing, I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. You know, I don't want to
Right.
say, okay, Maureen, I want you to go out there and walk, you know, and do this, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I pulled the muscle in my leg.
Okay,
Um,
and the other thing is that, the 5-in-1 is based on science.
mm,
And it's based
That's
on,
true,
it's,
too.
it's based on the idea, again, this whole thing about burning the energy you take at, you're burning the energy you bring in, it's in out, bringing in energy with food and you're taking out energy with exercise. So when you are on a 900 calorie intake for the day, doesn't take a lot of exercise. And what happens then is that you'll be counterproductive of losing weight. So then you have to find that spot where we have to add more protein or that sort of thing. So the science is based on movement of 5-in-1, movement, not exercise. So when we adjust that, then we have to adjust the program. So that's why we just have to walk through that.
Yeah, so that's why we just want to be careful with it too. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
But there are things you can do.
Yep, there are.
So, and that we'll go over with you because I hear what you're saying and I'm glad you're asking it. Because those are important questions.
We should be able to find a solution.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Marie, you going out for that hike?
Lori just went on one. She's gone.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, I should have gone with her.
Yeah, that's right.
I know.
She got all excited and she's heading out. No.
So here's the thing, consistency trumps intensity every time. Consistency trumps intensity with what you eat. It also trumps it with your exercise and with your non-exercise, your motion. So doing it every day is going to bring bigger results than if you get really crazy one day and you go out there and you do all this stuff and then you're laid up for 3 days because you can't move.
That's what I would do.
That's
Probably,
right.
yeah.
Get all enthusiastic, right? So better to say, hey, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna set aside this amount of time to do it. And I'm gonna just stick to that. But I'm gonna do it consistently and I'm gonna make it a habit. So,
I think that's a good point. We're trying to really develop a habit
Yeah.
of exercise that we can incorporate in every day of our life, and versus we have this goal of getting in. It's a goal, but we're creating a new habit.
whatever exercise you choose, or a couple of exercises like Karen's doing, whatever it is, should be something that you can do literally for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons Dr. Anderson really promotes walking. Walking is, I don't know about you, like my mom and my grandma, they lived to 101, both of them, and they were huge walkers. They walked everywhere. So I know there's a lot of benefit to it. A lot of benefit.
And there's some good sports things that you can age with, like pickleball or tennis are both sports that you can age well with and continue to play and be active in. So there are things out there that you can grow with, and that's really good, keep you healthy and well and make you feel accomplished. So
So be thinking about that for whether you're going to start it soon or down the line. And tomorrow when we talk, we can talk about that more. Something specifically for you. All right. All right, everybody. We hope you have a great evening. We hope that you dream about exercise tonight.
Yeah, you'll probably wake up burning calories if you do. You'll probably, yeah.
All right, guys, have a great evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.